we did this. So let's continue to the next question, 214. So 214, they say, I must calculate, I must just get the right question paper. They say here, calculate the factory overhead cost for the year by completing the table in the answer book. We've done that. We've done the production cost. 214, calculate the cost of wastage. So wastage, basically, you want to see how much are we supposed to use compared to how much did we use. And that difference would be the wastage. So now they tell me here, if you look at info, they say they use 1.2 meters per t-shirt. So if they use 1.2 meters per t-shirt, how many t-shirts did they make? Ne? Let's quickly see. They say there, how much went out, what was the working process, how many t-shirts were, do they tell me anywhere how many t-shirts were produced? Let's look here. Yes. Can you see here at number C, they tell me we produced 15,000 t-shirts. So, 15,000 t-shirts means I'm supposed to use how many meters? How many meters? 18,000. Now, if I go look, I see how many meters was issued. 18,900. So, can you see 900 meters was wasted? So 900 meters was wasted. They asked me the cost. So I need to go calculate how much did that cost me. Now remember, we calculated the average cost as 47 Rand. So times 47 will give me like that. 42,300 Rand wastage. Another way you could have done it is you could have said, oh, you know what? That 18,000 times 47 gives me this amount that I was supposed to use, less the amount that I got here, the 888,300. And then I would also get 42,300. Okay, is everybody sharp? All right? Sharp? Yes? Okay. Next one. And can you see I'm getting in the habit of not reading it here, but reading it here. Okay, because it might be that they give you a little bit more information here, number one. It could also be that there might be a typing error. And if there's a typing error or a discrepancy between the answer sheet and the question paper, then you always use the info on the question paper. So, Mark is concerned about the increase in the cost of raw material over the financial year. Now, provide 2 strategies that he can use to address the problem. I'm not even going to ask you. The 2 easiest ones is change suppliers, ne? And the second one is train workers. You're not going to put them on a train. You're going to take them to be trained to work more efficiently. Okay, that's your easiest to give. Okay. No, I don't know. Do not import the whatever. Try and find a local supplier that you don't have to pay import tax. Get a supplier that is closer so that your transport costs is lower. But can you see it's long sentences? You don't want long sentences. Okay. Lightning Kings is now a new company. Ne? It's not the same company. It's a different scenario in total. So let's have a look. The business manufactures light bulbs. Richard Smith, the CEO. Why does this thing move? Is it this? Intended to reduce. Why does it move?
It always does it. It just does in the middle.
Oh, okay. I'm not touching it now. Okay. He intended to reduce the production cost. What is the production cost again? It is direct material, direct labor, factory overheads. That's your production cost. Okay? Of Orion bulbs due to technological changes. Okay? So what is technological changes? Is maybe you got more upgraded machinery. Okay? And to introduce the new starlit bulbs by setting up a new factory. Can you see? There's two separate bulbs with separate information. So factory A does Orion and factory B does starlit. Okay, now let's have a look. Question 1. Do a calculation to confirm that 2023 break-even point is so many units. They like to give it like that because in the next sentence, most probably, they're going to ask me to comment on the break-even point. And so, if I have the correct break-even point, it's easier for us to mark, because if they didn't give me the break-even point, I would have to mark according to your answer. You see. So, this is the newest way. They love asking that. And there's also other ways. Most probably we'll get to that later. So, now we need to confirm the break-even point. So what is the break-even point, guys? Please, this is something you need to know. It's the total fixed cost over selling price per unit less variable cost per unit. You don't have to write that down, ne? But write it down now in the time when you're doing homework, that you get used to the format. So if I look at Orion, am I going to use 23 or 22? I am going to use the newest here, 23. Orion. I don't you have to confirm it. So you need to calculate it. So you know if you don't get to that amount, you did it wrong. So it's actually nice. Okay, now let's go look. I see there the total cost of production per unit. Do I want? No, I don't want that. Break even, total sales, blah, blah, blah. Variable per unit, I want that one. Total fixed cost, ne? And where's my selling price? There. Okay, so I'm going to take the total to 900 over selling less variable, so this gives me 20, ne? So 2982 whatever divided 20, and it will give me 149145. They're not going to mark that. They're going to say 1, 2, 3. So you have to show the calculation. No easy way out. Okay, now 2.2.2. Listen, you guys lose a lot of marks because you don't show figures. Okay, please remember figures. This one is going to identify, figure, reason. You get? That's how they mark. So let's go look. Identify and explain 2 cost items with figures that may have contributed to the increase in cost of production per unit. They're not talking totals, Vanessa. Provide a reason in each case. Note that the current inflation is 7%. So in other words, I want to look for an increase more than 7%. And are we still busy with Orion. Okay.
Because it's the only one that was available.
Okay, so now let's have a look. If I look at my cost, can you see your variable cost? You're not going to talk about the variable cost totals. You're going to talk about the items. So now let's see. Direct material went up 40 cents per unit. How will I know what's the percentage? It's always the man in the hat. Triangle stands for change. So what is the difference between, it's 40 cents, 0.40, over the original? What was the original? 1020 times 100. So what percentage did the direct material change? 3.9. Can you see it's less than inflation? Is it a problem? No. So you're not going to quote that one. Direct labor. Now let's look. The man in the hat. The man in the hat says, what is the change over the original? So what's the change? It's 1120 less 670. And how much is that? Can't be 12. Oh, the percentage in the end. 12.5%. Oh, the change is 4.5. Okay. So, how much? 73. What? Hospiaris, just say it again, baby. 73%.
Wait, 7. Wait.
Okay, 67%. Do you think there's a problem? Yes, that's definitely an extreme increase. Okay, so you're going to say here, direct labor cost. Then you get 1 mark. And you say, increased with 67%. Or, guess what? You can do it easy. You just say, increase from 670 to 1120. Can you see I didn't even write there per unit, because just the numbers are going to give you, and the fact that you say this is a problem already means that you saw that. Okay, now what would be the reason for the change? What is the easiest thing to say with direct labor? Overtime, ne? Too much overtime.
Can you say ineffective?
Or you can say ineffective workers. Why ineffective workers? That doesn't make sense.
They take longer to.
So they have to do a lot of things, redo things. Say that. You can't just say ineffective workers. Inexperienced workers leads to
Overtime.
mistakes, leads to unproductive, leads to overtime.
So she would have to say leads to something.
Yeah, the thing is, when someone marks your stuff, they're not inside your head.
Yeah.
So you can't just say overtime, because overtime is a given. No, overtime is a given. You're going to have overtime. So why is it a problem? Oh, because maybe this year we had too much overtime. Except for workers that are ineffective. What else can lead to a lot of overtime in our country? Load shedding. Because now your workers are at work from 8 to 5, but there's load shedding from 1 to 4. Can they work? No. Must I pay them? Yes. I pay them. They sit there for 2 hours doing nothing, but I have to pay them because they're at work, and then they have to work 2 hours overtime to finish the work that they were supposed to do in normal time, can you see that your price goes up? Does this mean that increase there? Does it mean that your workers got paid more?
No.
Not necessarily. Ne? Can I quickly explain this to you again? And I want you to listen to direct labor per unit. So let's say I have jerseys. People knit jerseys in my factory. Okay? So Mary works for me. She takes 1 day to knit a jersey. I pay her 100 Rand a day. What is the unit price for labor for a jersey? 100 Rand, because it takes Mary a day to knit a jersey. So, how will I get the unit costs down? Am I going to pay Mary less? No. What am I going to do? I'm going to send Mary for training. Or I'm going to buy Mary a machine. But now instead of making 1 jersey a day, now Mary can do 4 jerseys a day. What happens now? Am I going to pay Mary more? Do I pay her per unit? No, I pay her per day. How much do I pay her per day? 100 Rand. How many jerseys does she make now? 4. So now what's the unit cost per jersey? 25 Rand. Can you see now my direct labor cost decreased? Why? Did I get more workers? No. Did I fire workers? No. Did I decrease her wage? No. I just sent her for training to be more productive. So now the unit cost, she as a person, for the 100 Rand that I pay her, give me more units. So now the unit cost for labor is going down. So now if I look at this increase is not because of an increase in salary. Okay? This is about people, in other words, where today Mary makes 1 jersey, tomorrow, and it's with her machine, ne? But tomorrow, maybe there is some or other problem with the electricity or whatever. But now Mary only makes half a jersey. Okay? Whatever circumstances led to her making only half a jersey. So it means she needs to finish that jersey tomorrow. So now it takes her 2 days to make a jersey instead of 1. So now, am I going to pay her different? No. But now she gets 2 days pay. So now the unit cost, labor unit cost per jersey is 200 Rand because she's taking longer, because the lights were off. Right? So can you see, this is not necessarily that she's being paid more. It means per unit, the labor is costing me more. And now when I say, oh, you know what, so she came in today to work, but she can't finish her work because of load shedding, right? So she needs to finish it today. So I need to pay her double. I need to pay her today and tomorrow. So now it costs me more money for this thing to be done because of the fact that she couldn't work when she was supposed to. Does that make sense? Okay. Or you guys just think about it. You're in a factory. So you stand in a line, you work. Do you think that if you were working in a factory, that it would be a very satisfying job if the only thing you do is every day peel the potato, peel the potato, peel the potato? Are you very motivated? No. So if you go on lunch and your hour lunch is done and there's nobody to check you, are you going to sit an extra?
Yes. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Who cares? Because nobody's checking you. Can you see, if your management is not checking up on the workers, if there's not a bell that rings or whatever, people take longer breaks. And if they take longer breaks, it means they are less effective. Why? Because they work shorter hours, which means they make less products per day, which push up the unit costs. You guys get how it works? Yes. Okay, so the question here is, what if you replace the workers with machines? So first of all, it's important that you train your workers that is left to work the machine. So the machine cannot work itself.
Yeah.
Even if you just have to have someone to push the button. So what happens then is your machines work faster. So your labor costs will go down totally. But what's going to go up? Your maintenance and your depreciation is going to go up. So your factory overheads is going to become more expensive.
So do you think it's advisable to it?
Okay, so you cannot just say that. It's going to depend on what industry it is. It's going to depend on what machinery it is. Because if it's just a sewing machine, it's not that great amount of money to give out. But if you go to where they make helicopters and it's that huge machine that is programmed to make a little hole in the middle there that costs like 700 million rand, I mean, then we're talking totally different scenarios. So it will depend on scenario. Okay, but can you see, you can't just say overtime. You have to say too much overtime. Or you can say workers were what? Oh, my brain is dead. You can say stuff like bad management of workers. Inexperienced workers work slow. So lots of load shedding leads to workers not being able to work. You guys get it? Okay, but now we still need a second one. So if I look here, at selling and distribution,
It's more than 100.
can you see this is more than 100%? You can immediately see it, Heathen. You can immediately see it because look at that. It's more than double. So you're definitely going to say selling and distribution. Okay. Increased from 1 Rand 20 to 4 Rand 20. So what could have led to that?
Bad debts.
Okay, but let's quickly think, what is the big thing that happened in our, not just in our country, in the world this past 2 years? Which price just went like this?
Petrol.
Why did petrol go up that much?
Isn't it
Because of the war in Ukraine. There was a war in Ukraine, so what does that mean? The petrol supply, the oil supply is low. So the petrol price went up extremely a lot. So can you say there, you can say petrol increased. What else? The same, bad debt increased. But bad debt is part of selling and distribution. What else? More marketing was done.
But it's evident in our
This is all part of selling and distribution. So in other words, if you mention anything with selling and distribution is more, they have to give you the mark. If you can say, oh, we started delivering to other provinces, that would must be more expensive. Okay. Can you see you must get 6 marks here? Okay. Now, explain whether the new starlit bulbs were a good idea or not. Quote 2 points with figures. Can you see they don't want reasons? They just want to know if it was a good decision. When would it be a good decision? Let's see. If I look at this, can you see the number of units sold?
Yeah, it's greater than the break-even point.
Yes. Can you see the total sales?
Yeah, oh wow.
Okay.
Definitely better than 48.
Can you see the fixed cost per unit?
It's lower.
Okay, so I would say the selling price per unit is more. So I would just say units sold 25,225 more than Orion. You don't even have to say how much Orion does. That will give you 2 marks. 2 marks more. Now you can decide. Am I going to say the sales of 15,300 more than Orion is more than that of Orion? Or you can say the selling price per unit is more than that of Orion, but that doesn't matter if we don't sell enough. I would do those two. You can also say, yeah, no, I won't even go into the costing. I would just do that. And there you got 4 marks. Do you think you can do it?